Hello, hello, it's Coyote Christina and Little Goosey Boo. We are here with the Amazed and Amused campaign. It is week 8 and this is the Wednesday post. We're going to talk about the chakras and the Lionsgate portal that is coming up this Friday. So this is the day of the year where the energies, stars are aligned, and the best day for manifestation. So really being more intentional about what you want in your life, what is supporting that, and if there's stuff in your life that's not supporting your greatest desires, moving away from it and getting it out of your life. So let's see, I'm going to start with, I asked the readers of my first book, To Kill a Coyote, to approach TKC as you would a new friend, with curiosity, patience, and an open mind. And I'm asking all of you to do the same during the Amazed and Amused book launch campaign. So just hoping you're approaching the material and listening it with an open mind and maybe finding great information. I would love to hear from you, what you found most helpful or inspiring, interesting regarding the information about any information I've been sharing. Are you captivated by animal guides? Have you done the daily practice for Movement Mondays? Have you noticed a difference when you're doing those breathing exercises, when you're doing those yoga poses, a different relationship between you and your body, able to listen better? And then is there something you've learned about our energy centers and the chakras, our psychology and our biology, that has provided you insight? I love sharing this information because I get to learn more. It helps me process it at a deeper level and become even more articulate with the information. And as we near the Lionsgate portal, the full opening on Friday, let's learn more about this annual celestial event. So what is the Lionsgate 8-8 portal? And I am reading from the website. This website is foreverconscious.com/the-Liongate88 portal. It'll be on the Substack in the notes, so you can find it there. Okay, so what is this Lionsgate portal? The Lionsgate portal is the opening of a galactic gate that delivers high frequency energy into our beings, allowing us to rebirth our spirit energy and the spirit energy of Mother Earth. This high frequency energy can be used to open our energy centers, inspire new ideas, raise our consciousness, and enhance our ability to receive psychic downloads. The Lionsgate portal is activated by the rising of the star Sirius, which takes place from the end of July through the middle of August. However, the numerology of 8-8 and the sun reaching the halfway point, or 15 degrees of the Leo zodiac at this time, the peak of the lion energy, has made August 8th the day we celebrate the portal. It actually opened the portal starts opening, and maybe it's when Sirius starts rising, on July 28th, and then it closes on August 12th, but August 8th, 8-8 is the main focus. So Sirius is considered our spiritual sun, so the rising and returning of Sirius was seen by the ancient astrologers as the rebirth of our spirit energy and the spirit energy of the planet. The rising of Sirius also corresponded with the rainy season and the flooding of the Nile, further supporting this idea of rebirth through the nourishing rain. Some cultures also use the rising of Sirius to signify the start of a new year. Sirius is one of the brightest stars in the sky and is known as a spiritual sun. While our earthly sun illuminates our physical world, which is an illusion, our spiritual sun illuminates the truth of our timeless soul. The ancients were very in tune with the star Sirius, as they believed it was the gateway to heaven and the home of higher vibrational beings. They believed the energy of Sirius carried highly advanced wisdom that we could tap into and utilize whenever Sirius was strong in the sky. While our sun is responsible for beaming down life for our physical bodies, Sirius is responsible for beaming down life for our spiritual bodies. This is why the opening of the Lionsgate portal can bring awakening and lift our consciousness to new heights. In modern astrology, Sirius is associated with freedom and advanced technology. So what significance does this 8-8 have? In numerology, it represents infinity and DNA activation, allowing us to take this serious energy and infuse it into the very core of our being. We can also unlock and upgrade the memory of our cells, allowing us to bring more healing, peace, and love into our being. Think of the hidden messages in water. This is a concept by Dr. Emoto, E-M-O-T-O, captured the shape of water crystals based on the vibration of their surroundings. Our body is mostly water, and millions of those water crystals are living within us. We can use the Lionsgate portal energy to ensure our crystals are vibrating harmoniously and are whole and complete in their structure. The number 8 also represents infinity, the infinite soul that we are, and the infinite journey that we take. So why is it called Lionsgate? The rising of Sirius, which ancient astrologers celebrated as the rebirth of spirit, happens to occur right in the heart of Leo season, which is ruled by the lion. On August 8th, the sun is just past 15 degrees of Leo, which is halfway through the zodiac. Reaching this halfway mark also signifies the astrological midpoint between the June solstice and the September equinox. Reaching this halfway mark is said to thin the veil between the realm of spirit and the 3D world. The energy of Lionsgate can connect us with cosmic skies, galactic frequencies, higher dimensional beings, and our own intuition. It can also activate heart healings, the expansion of spiritual wisdom, and help us awaken to our true potential. On Lionsgate, on 8/8, set an intention of how you wish to use this energy, and then create a ritual or practice that allows you to harness and work with it. The high frequency light energy can help to activate and awaken the third eye and the heart chakras, bringing about spiritual awakenings, healings, heart openings, and more. So I thought that was a good introduction into our chakras, our Wednesday and our chakra practice. And just learning more about astrology and the Lionsgate. And my life path number is also 8, so I find that interesting. So maybe 8/8 has more significance for me too, possibly, or just in my mind. And that's the thing, like most of this stuff is just in our mind. So if we can train our minds to be connected with our bodies and let go of so many of the false ideas and assumptions that have been placed upon us that aren't true, and that's when we can open up to self-determination. All right, so chakras, we're gonna, since the Lionsgate portal opens up our 4th and 6th chakras, our heart and our third eye, I'm gonna read some from Eastern Body, Western Mind. I'm actually gonna use my notebook. I've read this book cover to cover 3 times, and I've also taken notes on the whole book. And then I pick it up and have read parts of it here and there. So starting with the 4th chakra. Oops, let's go back. Still keep going back. All right, so the basic right is to love and be loved. And the 3rd chakra is for holding and letting go, while the 4th chakra is reaching out and taking in. Fear and or grief can block these natural energy flows. And then talk about relationships with the heart chakra. A healthy relationship needs to honor both the upward and downward movements of energy and creates a balance between spirit and soul, expansion and constriction, freedom and commitment. And then it's talking about there's masculine energy and feminine energy. So there's the father and the mother. So transcendence of the father and the immanence of the mother, dynamic balance that serves both liberation and manifestation. So once a commitment is made, it is easier to allow a partner their solitude or freedom. Once we know our freedom is respected, we can more easily make a commitment. So it's that delicate balance in a relationship of trusting another and committing to a relationship with them, and they have to do the same for us. And then when they honor our freedom within that relationship, it's easier to maintain it in a healthy way. And this is something that provided a lot of insight when I read it. She's talking about Anna Dea Judith, the author of Eastern Body, Western Mind, is talking about, she works with clients in counseling therapy. And one of them said, I feel so lost right now. Like I hate myself. I just want to disappear. And I've definitely had that feeling before. And the response is, then you are abandoning yourself. You have abandoned yourself over the thought of it. So just really realizing like this abandonment issue I have, and like feeling like I'm being abandoned. And a lot of it is because I'm abandoning myself. Like there was a time when it was so painful that I wanted to disappear and that I left my own body. So now I have to come back and be with myself. And if I am here with me and if I show up for me, that's the main thing I need to do. And then I can do that for another. If we can't do it for ourselves, how are we going to do it in a relationship? Any type of relationship. Children, with your children, are you going to show up for them? With your partners? All that good stuff. And this is another one. When there's conditional love, when there's strings attached, when you're not loved unconditionally by your parents. So it says conditional love from parents can create a sense in children that carries into our adulthood that we can either be ourselves or we can be loved. So I know I've asked before, why is it so hard to be ourselves? And if we didn't receive unconditional love as children, which I did, I have a mother who's amazing. I did receive unconditional love. But I still was surrounded in this assumptions of patriarchy of who I should be as a woman. So I was definitely loved for who I was, but I couldn't just be who I was in that world growing up. And then I'm going to end with a little alligator medicine in the heart chakra. So as more parts of ourselves are integrated, which is alligator medicine, we become more complex, more mature, and capable of greater and greater possibilities. This sets the ground for creativity in the 5th chakra and for the penetrating insight and understanding in the 6th and 7th. Reflective consciousness allows this integration and is the task usually undertaken through psychotherapy. So I thought that's interesting, in showing how the chakras connect and how the strength in one chakra and having it healthy and balanced can support other chakras. All right, so let's go to the 3rd eye, which is a lot of really cool information as I was reading through it. So the basic right of the 6th chakra is to see, to know, and to trust. And the energy of this chakra orients towards self-reflection and produces our identity and determines our intellectual capacity. And our challenges with our 3rd eye is discerning between reality and illusion, and that whole interplay, which Dragonfly talks about, as well as Lizard and some others. Clear seeing unclouded by ignorance and circumstance. Maintaining focus, staying grounded, becoming aware enough to identify delusions and obsessions, and our dream recall, using our dreams to guide and instruct our way. And then I had taken some notes, and I also put little animal medicine by them. And so coyote to me is very strong in the 6th chakra, because when we begin to develop our 6th chakra, we are able to recognize and confront the discrepancy between image and reality and learn to see at a deeper level. So it's breaking that surface level, like living on the surface, and coyote medicine kind of brings that glass house come breaking down, or forces us to get off the surface and dive deep. And this is just our thinking process is believed to be 90% visual. So I find that fascinating. And this is back to coyote and owl. The awakening of consciousness requires clearing the 3rd eye of illusion so we can see what is within and around us without distortion, without trying to make it what I want. Distortion can happen around memories and our perceptions of memories, especially when our memories are tainted by trauma and we have developed coping mechanisms at a young age that are very likely unhealthy and inaccurate. And then we go into some whale medicine of the 6th chakra. Without vision, our actions are mere impulses, but with vision, they become creative acts of will in the service of transformation. I love that. So we can change and that's that movement towards self-determination, and also the developing of our chakras. Because mere impulses, that's coming from our 1st and 2nd chakras, our instinctual and primal nature, where we just have an urge to do something, or it's, fight, flight, flee. It's that staying alive, those really strong instincts. But then we come up to our 3rd, and then we start thinking more, is that the right thing to do? Is that what I want to do? How do I go along how do I choose the path? And so it starts to develop more and more. and so it comes from mere impulses and indulgence. Like third chakra can be too indulgent if we don't have a healthy third chakra. And this becomes where we are able to, we have a healthy third chakra, so we're not so indulgent. We can make healthy choices. We don't have to be, we can listen to our primal instincts and know that, but we're also able to harness that energy in positive ways and not just in flee or flight. We don't just run away. We don't just fight. We find ways to communicate and be in community. All right. Keep moving. While each of our chakras brings us information, it is the task of our sixth chakra to assemble that information into meaningful patterns. This self-reflection leads to self-knowledge and wholeness. Opening our third eye, the sixth chakra, allows us to see the big picture, transcend our egocentricity, and find the deeper meaning inherent in all things. Illusion wrests our consciousness from open-minded perception, fixing it upon a frozen image. And this is what happens in trauma. You get stuck in a singular point of view, and an illusion creates around that singular point of view instead of being able to see and be conscious of more than that. The illusion I hold of how something should be is usually an image of what it currently is not. So if you're should, they should do this, I should be, quit shoulding. That's you just wanting things to be different than they are. That's me just wishing. I did that a lot in my life, so preaching to the choir here. We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. And I put that with whale medicine and really connecting with that larger archetype and the universality of human experience. When illusion is fed by a sixth chakra excess, it becomes obsession and delusion. And I definitely have an excessive sixth chakra, a tendency towards that, and a tendency towards delusion. Just a couple more. Oh my gosh. The archetype is transcendent because it is bigger than we are. It is immanent because it is an element of who we are. I just found that really interesting. And then going into the symbols and archetypes that we've been talking about in the transformation stage. We are in celebration now, but symbols emerge when we recognize a pattern. Symbols are an intermediate whole brain way of communicating about deep archetypal energies. Since intuition is passive, it requires surrender, just as opening to the elements of earth and water requires surrender to gravity and flow. We need intuition to embrace the mystery that opens us to the larger cosmic world. And I just put a little note by there, opossum medicine, that whole surrender, that we don't have to do anything. We have to learn to just surrender. And that's also takes us into the celebration stage in the altar, when we lay everything on the altar and we surrender or we let go. And I'm just going to end on Anadea Judith in her book talks about what Jung says about archetypes. With the birth of symbol, the regression of the libido into the unconscious ceases. So we're no longer just having energy from our subconscious that's sitting there and we don't know about it, and it's directing our life without us knowing about it. So this regression shifts to progression, blockage gives way to flowing, and the pull of the primordial abyss is broken. Thus, through symbols, we begin to grasp understanding major polarities, and this crystallization leads us into conscious realization. So there we have it. That's not a very clear quote to end on. But it is kind of that sixth chakra, and it's just about that whole idea of like when we're not aware and we're not conscious, we're being directed by these coping mechanisms and these ways of being that we've learned just to survive as children in environments that maybe didn't support who we were fully, or who told us we had to fill certain roles even when it didn't feel right to us. So it's really about becoming conscious of those subconscious layers of conditioning, and then once we become conscious of them, we can start to act in ways that are more conscious and act from a place that is more true to who we are and what we're supposed to do in this world. And that's the conscious realization, and that's moving towards self-determination. So hopefully that's more clear. All right, that's a long one today because we went over the Lionsgate portal and chakras and all kinds of great information. Hope you enjoyed. Coyote Christina with the Amazed and Amused campaign book launch. Would love if you joined me on Substack as a free subscriber, or if you go to my website, tkcdreams.net, and doing a pre-sale of Amazed, Amused, and Often Confused, which is my second book. Doing this book launch and sharing information about it. So hope to see you soon. Would love to hear from you. Take care. Bye-bye.